So Techtober is definitely in full swing, and now finally OnePlus have played their hand in this upper mid-range flagship arena, and now against the competition, this battle to win in this price sector just got a lot more interesting and a lot more tougher. So yes, let's talk about it, man. The OnePlus 8T versus the Google Pixel 5 versus the Samsung Galaxy FE. Now this is what you call a triple threat. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos that's posted on the channel. Now, as of this recording, the OnePlus 8T has been announced and is on pre-order, but yet to be released to the public for proper hands-on. And the S20 FE is now available for purchase to the public alongside the Pixel 5, which should be available at the end of October for purchase. So I don't have the devices on hand yet, but once I do, for sure, there's going to be more follow-up content and comparisons, no doubt. But stick around, because I still want to give my thoughts and initial opinion of these devices, looking from the outside in, and what one I'm leaning more towards and what one I might actually recommend in the end. Let's start with the design, and all these three devices are taking a different approach in emulating and bringing a premium experience at a much more accessible price in their own way, based on the materials and the build. Now, the OnePlus 8T is using Corning Gorilla Glass 6 and 5 for the front and the back of the phone with an aluminium frame, dual SIM support, and although there is glass at the back, there is no wireless charging, which we'll get to later, and no official IP rating either. Now, the size of the handset is based on a 6.55-inch display footprint with a 20:9 aspect ratio, with an optical in-display fingerprint scanner and two available colors, which are known as aquamarine, I always struggle to say that, green, and a much more glossy finish on that color, and also lunar silver, which is based on a much more matte frosted finish, just like the 7T from previous year, which looks like the one I'm definitely leaning towards to more. Now, the Pixel 5 is using an aluminium unibody design with what seems to be a clever mix of a resin material in a wireless charging coil area, which is what is allowing and enabling the ability to wirelessly charge through the metal frame of the body. I definitely want to get more details on this, and also the question of durability is still up in the air with the design choice, but this seems so far to be a clever approach when it comes to a premium design. Now, the size of the handset is in such a sweet spot at 6 inches, and with a rear mounted physical hardware fingerprint scanner and two colors, black and green, or as Google calls it, just black and sort of sage. Let's move over to the S20 FE, which takes a different approach, using what looks like a brushed plastic or glasstic, as Samsung calls it, main material for the overall design with an aluminium frame. Now, the footprint of the device is also based on a 6.5-inch display, an optical in-display fingerprint scanner, and 6 available different colors: cloud lavender, cloud mint, cloud navy, cloud white, cloud red, cloud orange. Like I said, I'm on cloud 9. That's a lot of cloud. Now, I have to say, overall, in terms of build and materials, it does look like low-key OnePlus and Google are pushing the boat in the materials being used, as Samsung is using Gorilla Glass 3 and a plastic shell. But then again, it swings over to the other side, with OnePlus lacking wireless charging and no official IP rating, which is something that is both present on the Pixel 5 and the S20 FE. Now, let's move over to the display, and now with all three devices, when it comes to the design and the function of the display, are taking a very similar approach, which is actually a good look. All three phones have a flat display. Thank the display gods when it comes to the design. That is the case here, with each using a single hole punch in the display, with OnePlus and Google opting for the top left-hand corner and Samsung in the top center. Now, all three phones are using an AMOLED display, thank you, at full high definition plus resolution, and all three are using a high refresh rate display. But here we're reading and looking deeper at it. OnePlus and Samsung are both using 120Hz panels versus the 90Hz panels on the Google Pixel 5. And although there hasn't been any official rating on the touch response on the S20 FE and the Pixel 5, this is where OnePlus might have the advantage with a 240Hz touch response rate display. Front design wise, although it looks like OnePlus have done a great job with keeping the bezel symmetrical, but definitely, man, you gotta give it to Google on this one with the Pixel 5, because the front of the Pixel 5 is looking cleaner, and definitely both the Pixel 5 and the OnePlus 8T are doing a much better job than the thicker bezels that you'll find in the S20 FE. Now, this one right here, just might favor overall to the OnePlus, but testing and hands-on will definitely be the one to really tell the full story for sure. Now let's get into this, man. Specs, performance and battery, and this part of this triple threat battles where it gets really heated and it gets really serious. Both the OnePlus 8T and the S20 FE are packing a Snapdragon 865 Plus LPDDR4X RAM, but with 8GB of RAM starting on the OnePlus 8T with a 12GB option and 6GB of RAM on the S20 FE. Both are using 128GB of starting storage, but the OnePlus 8T is actually using faster UFS 3.1 storage versus 2.1 on the S20 FE. But the S20 FE not only has dual SIM support like the OnePlus 8T, but there's also support for micro SD card expansion. Both are using a 4500 mAh battery cell, but man, the OnePlus 8T takes it to a whole new level with support for the new Warp Charge 65 with 65-watt charging, which OnePlus are claiming full charge from dead zero in just 39 minutes, which is insane, versus up to 25 watts on the S20 FE with 15-watt wireless charging and wireless power share, which are not present on the OnePlus 8T. Now compare that to the Google Pixel 5, which is using a Snapdragon 765G, 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM, 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage that is non-expandable with a 4080 mAh battery that supports 18-watt fast charging, 12-watt wireless charging, and wireless battery share with single SIM support. So yeah, man, I gotta say, this part of the comparison ain't looking too friendly for the Google Pixel 5, and damn OnePlus, 65-watt wired charging. Guys, you ain't messing about when it comes to charging speeds for sure on this one. And although the S20 FE supports up to 25-watt charging, remember, you only get the 15-watt charger in the box versus the Pixel and the OnePlus, who give you the maximum fast charging bricks that come in the box when you purchase it. Another ace in favor of the OnePlus 8T is the fact that there is a 12GB of RAM option with 256GB of storage option, double up from before, which still works out to be cheaper than the S20 FE in terms of pricing, which we're gonna get to later. There was me thinking Samsung came good with the specs, and then boom, OnePlus just came there and said, you know what, hold my beer. And for sure, based on my lifestyle, that 65-watt charging is insane and definitely has got my attention. So this might just be a win overall for the OnePlus 8T in this section. But remember, let's remember there's always a big but. The numbers and the specs are one thing and optimization is another. And when it comes to software and support, both the OnePlus 8T and the Google Pixel 5 have Android 11 out of the box versus Android 10 on the S20 FE. And although both Google and Samsung have promised 3 years of Android version updates versus 2 years on OnePlus, the day one software updates on the Pixel will definitely be unmatched with certain exclusive software features and well-optimized Pixel experience. Oh, the camera, man, this section is another interesting battle and discussion for sure. Now, OnePlus are taking a questionable quad camera setup with a single selfie versus the triple camera setup on the S20 FE with a single selfie, and even more simple and focused approach from Google with a dual camera setup with a single selfie. Now, the OnePlus 8T is working with a large 48 megapixel main sensor, a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor lens combo with a very nice 123-degree field of view, but also a questionable 5 megapixel macro sensor and an even more questionable 2 megapixel monochrome sensor backed with a 16 megapixel sensor. Now, when it comes to Google, they finally listened and gave us an ultra wide angle sensor lens combo at 16 megapixels with 107-degree field of view and the trusted 12.2 megapixel main sensor we've come to know and trust for their stills on the main camera, backed by an 8 megapixel selfie shooter as well. So yeah, simple and straight to it with the dual hardware lens setup. Now, when it comes to the S20 FE, it hits all the right notes as well when it comes to the camera hardware with a triple lens sensor combo. Firstly, a 12 megapixel ultra wide with 120-degree field of view, a large 12 megapixel sensor, same as the S20 series, and an 8 megapixel ×3 optical zoom with a 32 megapixel selfie. Now, yeah, like I said before, I'm definitely excited to try the ultra wide on the Pixel 5, as this is the first time Google have done this, and this potentially might be one of the best for stills photography on an ultra wide for sure. But even saying that, the field of view does seem a decent amount less compared to the OnePlus 8T and the S20 FE, so definitely this does look like it's more in favor in terms of the FE and the 8T for sure. But overall, it looks like video performance on the S20 FE is looking to be ahead, as overall when it comes to the package of it. For example, the front facing camera can shoot video up to 4K 60 frames per second with stabilization, and although the OnePlus 8T has more than enough resolution on the selfie camera, it can only take up to 1080p 30 frames per second, just like the Pixel 5, which is very strange because the cheaper and less powerful OnePlus Nord can shoot 4K 60 frames per second on the selfie. Boy, this right here is definitely going to need some testing, because we all know when it comes to the Pixel's stills processing, regardless of how that sensor is, the processing is second to none. So definitely this is going to be an interesting one when we test it. Now, price wise, the OnePlus 8T starts at a crazy 549 UK pounds with a 649 UK pounds version for the 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage option, versus the Google Pixel 5 at 599 UK pounds for the 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage only, and the S20 FE that starts at 599 for the 4G only Exynos 990 model, and then 699 respectively for the 5G Snapdragon model. Both come with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. And it really looks like OnePlus just watched what Google and Samsung play their cards on the price and the specs and just came in and straight up undercut them big time. And also remember this, the new iPhone 12 has been announced, and although we're waiting for more details on the product internally, for 128 gigabytes, it comes in at £849. And are you getting £300 more phone versus the OnePlus 8T at the base model with the same storage? It's going to be a discussion for another day very, very soon, for real. Boy, now that's what you call a triple threat, and man, the battle in this mid-range upper premium flagship arena is just getting so heated this year, and it's only going to keep getting tougher and better. So definitely, man, I wasn't expecting to make this video, but after the cards that OnePlus just played alongside everyone else, I had to, man, and it's looking good. So yeah, that's my initial thoughts on these devices. Again, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos that's posted on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.